Alright, boys. We can get onto that one tomorrow. Yeah, sorry, but like today, my sister's stopped into town, and so we were just catching up for a little bite to eat. Haven't seen her for a couple of months, and it was a bit unexpected. She was down. She works. She works as like a 24-hour nurse for a really rich quadriplegic, and so he was actually hurt in a movie production, or Warner Bros. Production. He's a stuntman, and so they basically pay for everything, and so she gets paid quite well to look after him. But they live the life of Riley down here for the Melbourne Cup tomorrow. In Australia, if you don't know, around the world, Melbourne Cup's a really big horse race we have here in Australia. One of the most, I think it is the richest prize money race in the world. I could be wrong on that. Perhaps Dubai's got something more ridiculous, just one off to be the most, but it's definitely up there. So the Melbourne Cup's tomorrow. Now, each year the Melbourne Cup is on the same day as the RBA. Alright, so we always have this little conflict because they're relatively close in time these days. RBA is now at 2:30. Back in the day it wasn't, but now it is. And I think this race is starting 3. So it's going to be pretty close there. I'm not going to give any tips on the horses though. Just stick to the Forex. In terms of the Forex, very likely to be AUD positive, the meeting. In fact, he'll have to go out of his way to be dovish. The market's expecting mildly dovish to neutral. So just the cursory strong Australian dollar will complicate the transition progress that will probably be left in there. But definitely some sort of line along the lines of current monetary policy is appropriate. So something along these lines. Market's priced out any sort of RBA action for the whole of 2017. So it's actually very stable. Now this leads us into some of our trade ideas this week. How do you take advantage of a stable currency? It's not moving against much at all. It's actually been as strong as US dollar, and the US dollar's been quite strong, right? So in terms of why you'd buy the Aussie versus say the US dollar against the euro, it's because it yields as well as outperforms the US dollar in risk-on environments, and I suspect we've got some risk-on coming, especially post-election. Right, but the big story today obviously was over the weekend, just on Friday night actually into the close, Clinton, the FBI reopened its case into Clinton email server. Market took that as a bit of a surprise. Maybe that will tilt the election a little bit towards Trump, or even a whole lot towards Trump. People just sold first, asked questions later. Over the weekend, it became clear there was no real story there. So the reaction was muted today, and you got a bit of buying on the from the open here, from the dollar yen, and a bit of selling of the euro. Those were the two main contributors, the gainers from the US dollar weakness. And I think it's a non-event, non-story. Just gave us good opportunity to sell some dollar Mexican, but unfortunately I was already short dollar Mexican pretty aggressively. 1.5 lots short the dollar Mexican, and so I was a little bit worried about this news on Friday because my stops were pretty close, and I was wondering if I was going to get stopped in the open. Just lived. Just survived. So happy about that. Looks like we've dodged a bullet here. And the market's already starting to sell the dollar Mexican, as it's not really going to change the polls enough. It's not just change the polls, right? It's actually very hard demographically, very hard road to the White House, even if it was a close campaign for any Republican, let alone Trump as a Republican ticket. So it's just very hard demographically for them to win. They have to win key states that are part of what they call the electoral college over there. So they've got this process that's not so much straight democracy. It's a little bit more this representative constituency per, you get electoral votes per state, and certain states it's just very hard for the Republicans to win in any event. And even though Clinton's a pretty bad candidate, You know, there's so many states that are so important that just with the women vote and Hispanic vote, it's going to be hard for Trump to win unless there's a huge misunderstanding of the American voter. And so I'm very comfortable selling dollar Mexican. I believe this was the opportunity. If you hadn't any exposure to the dollar Mexican, I believe this was the opportunity. And this is the main way to do it. Sell into this rally. If you haven't sold, you can still sell. The market's a lot higher than it was 1850 back when Trump had no chance. Pretty sure market's going to price in Trump no chance by election day. Okay. As you get closer and closer, if there is no scandal, it's going to be Clinton winning. And if anyone's got some skeletons in the closets, I believe it's going to be Trump in the next 7 days. So let's see. I mean, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Definitely going to be volatile. But that's like next Tuesday week, right? So we've got a little bit of time before that, and we've got some huge data. Not just RBA tomorrow. We've got the BOJ this week, and we've got the FOMC on Thursday. Now, FOMC on Thursday morning my time, Wednesday most of your time, if you're not Asian. FOMC is likely to be along the lines of, we're prepared to raise rates, we're data dependent, and most people believe December's appropriate. Going to be pretty much outlining they're going to raise in December as long as data comes in strong. Data comes in not especially weak. All right, so I expect it to be US dollar strength, timid US dollar strength. If the NFP comes in strong, I expect it to be a lot of US dollar strength. Maybe not as much as there would be if there wasn't an election the next Tuesday. And if it comes in mild, I'd expect it to be not much reaction. But what I'm feeling is going to be the case is a lot of pent-up US dollar strength that will be unleashed post-Clinton win next Tuesday, right? So Wednesday Asian time, if it's quick enough to be drawn then. And I suspect this is going to be the case, right? That people who want to be long for the December rate hike and people who have been long after the FOMC NFP won't really pull the trigger until we get the election result. And so I expect risk on and US dollar strength, a really big rally in the dollar yen, I suspect, in the next 8 days. Now, I could be wrong on this. I am long dollar yen, long dollar Swiss, long euro Swiss, long Aussie Kiwi. I'll get to the Aussie Kiwi in a sec. But this is the way I'm playing it, right? I'm playing long US dollar strength. I expect everything to be fine. I expect the market, I'm basically trading with the trend until disproven otherwise. Using this little hiccup regarding Clinton as good entry and expecting post-Clinton and post-decent jobs numbers for there to be a new leg higher here towards 107, 108 in the dollar yen. So if I'm right, then we'll make a bit of money. Yeah, this is if it comes in weak NFP, by golly gosh, have we got ourselves a little bit more of a drama in the market and a little bit more debate. Will they, won't they in December? And forget the election. I mean, it's just going to make it so much harder to buy the US dollar. And it have to be weak, under 100,000 to change the game. Otherwise, I think December's locked in. Alright, so that's one angle. Short dollar Mexican for the election. And the other trade we have is long Aussie Kiwi. Long Aussie Kiwi has turned into a little bit of a downer. We bought after CPI expecting to bust this 107.50. Really wanted to be exposed to the potential move to the top side here, back towards that 112, 113 resistance. But as you can see, we've got a huge selling on Thursday and Friday. Basically, Aussie dollar disappointed. Kiwi didn't do much. Now, the whole trade idea is that RBA is going to be neutral tomorrow, and RBNZ is going to be cutting rates next Thursday week. So that's the whole trade idea. In theory, it should go higher. In reality, right now, it's getting rejected and Aussie's struggling. And perhaps I've read the market wrong here. So I'm going to put a stop in. I'll take my stops. I'm going to be a good boy on this one. I'm not going to war with the Aussie Kiwi again. Remember we went to the war last time? Very, very similar circumstances. Bought the second rally. Thought it was the real deal. Last time bought the second rally. Thought it was the real deal. Bought a little bit more. Bought a little bit more. Then bum 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 bum. Okay, but let's see. What's going to require for this trade to go undone will be the whole sell the Kiwi because of the rate cut, buy it afterwards trick, which has been pulled many times in the last 12 months. I haven't got confidence in it at the moment. The price action is definitely bearish. So we'll see. See if we get stopped out on that trade. Hopefully the dollar yen and the Mexican make us enough money to not worry too much. I mean, I haven't got a huge trade on it, but it's just annoying to trade that pair badly because just to misread it. I've traded it well for many years, and now I'm just getting stuck. And I'm not getting stuck short Kiwi, as a Kiwi, because I'm just not selling it down here. I'm getting stuck long and wrong. The divergence between the 2-year and the, what you'd call the fair value of the currency and what it historically would be, given the difference in the interest rates, is as big as it's ever been. And it's very hard for currencies to fight that and to not adjust back to what it should be. If you look at, say, a yearly chart, you'll see that they tag along together, and now we've just got this divergence going on that I haven't seen before. People say this time it's different. I don't buy that, right? I don't buy that. If they're cutting interest rates in New Zealand, then Aussie Kiwi will rally at some point. I'm just wrong on the timing. Got excited. Let's see if I was dollar yen can get back above 105. I would appreciate if it got above 105 pre-NFP. You might have to be a little bit more cautious. I mean, obviously we should be cautious with the US elections. We did get a nice little dip here, though. Did get a nice little dip. That was filled on the gap this morning. So I'm happy about that. Macquarie Bank analysis for the look, I'm pretty sure they would have posted that. So each year, Macquarie Bank, which is a big investment bank in Australia, sort of like Australia's Goldman Sachs, they do quant analysis on the horses and pick a winner, and supposedly they've been pretty good. Yeah, fair value should be a lot higher, Gats, but it's got me in trouble before, mate. It's getting me in trouble now. Alright? I don't know. I'm cursed on the Aussie Kiwi lately. You shut up, Potter. We'll fight you. No, fair value is just like this artificial thing that we do that it's sort of like a market model. It's an economic model of where the price should be, but it's almost always off, but it's rarely off this much. You sell it now and I'll buy it from you in a year's time. Tacos, what are you doing? Just trying to scare us? We're in that Mexican trade. What do we got here? Let's have a little look at what Tacos just posted. This is sort of like some voodoo stuff. Basically, he's not looking at the polls per se. He's looking at like the favourables and just of the incumbent in the Democratic Party, and he suggests this will lead to a Trump win. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you discount Trump. He's such a larger than life. If he's going to be wrong one time, I think it's going to be wrong when put Trump in his model. I just don't think you can compute it without. I don't think you can just compute it based upon party lines and traditional numbers. But interesting stuff. Aside from the RBA tomorrow, we do have not just the BOJ, we do have the PMIs from China. So don't underestimate those. If they come out rocking, that will help the Aussie, and that could be something as an extra catalyst. I mean, Aussie yen is another trade. I don't know if I'm on that in this account. Let's get some up. Aussie yen is not a bad trade. Jesus, we missed that entry. Yeah, I didn't buy any on this account. Aussie yen makes a lot of sense, guys, going forward for the next 2 weeks. I like it from here to 83. But just for today, we didn't get a good entry, so I'll put in a 0.25. And the good thing about it is we know where to put our stop. Going to require a pretty big Trump story here to get that negative rock in, or the RBA to be unexpectedly dovish. Both of those are unlikely. But let us see if we can find the Macquarie Bank forecast for this year, just so we can get a bet on. Milk prices definitely will affect the Kiwi dollar GATs. I like the way that you're focusing on the right things there, sir. I like the way it... I don't think it can change the outlook for RBNZ though. Just short-term strength or weakness in the Kiwi, yeah. Futures are looking weak from what I read earlier, but I don't trade milk futures, so don't quote me on that. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for the Macquarie Bank. I mean, it has to be an Aussie-based trader to post that stuff. Ugh. Maybe not. You guys are saying that you really like the David Bloom. I'll see if I can get some articles there written by him. I'm not sure if he writes research. Yeah, he's on this one, okay? So we can have a look at this later. So David Bloom was that ranter that we listened to the other day. We'll see what he says in his little update. Yeah, milk is a big exporter, so positive milk prices helps the Kiwi rally. And especially from these levels, it'll definitely help it rally. The Kiwi levels I'm talking. And milk prices have actually been under pressure for a little bit. So perhaps there is a chance of a snapback. Yeah, by no means is Clinton win a big shock to the market, but any sort of pent up US dollar strength that's sort of waiting here, and I think there is a bit of that. And if we do get some bullish NFP and some bullish FOMC, hawkish FOMC, then I think the market will wait until after the election results to actually place those US dollar bets. So that I don't think you'll see buying in mass unless it's a really strong NFP pre-election. Yeah. Any data shortfall could provoke a meaningful reassessment. Yada yada yada. All right, they've got a way to play the pound as we move forward to buy the euro pound. That's an interesting trade. Not the way I would do it, but yeah, that's an interesting trade. Got a little bit of pound selling in the last 15 minutes actually. It's a bit cheeky. A little bit cheeky. You updated your EA there, Joe Pro. Just get some more data under your belt, mate. That's all you need. I've been telling you that for a couple of years now, or at least a year. You just need to have more and more exposure. It survived the pound crash. That's a very good, sort of endorsement. Then again, does require that the broker feels the same as your main. I'm very hesitant about any sort of loss prevention system, automated loss prevention system. But we've had that discussion many times. I won't harp on about that. At the end of the day, though, you can't break maths, right? Whatever you feel is the case, maths doesn't. If it doesn't add up, it doesn't add up. Which is the problem with all the sort of breakout martingale, reverse martingale loss recovery systems. So we did this for Deutsche Bank and they had a terrible profit and loss. But these guys are doing well this year. So the latest trade is to buy euro pound. They think the pound weakness is going to come back. Definitely I take that with a little bit of... oh, this is pretty heavy, guys. We can't go through this all today. I will go through just quickly the month-end rebalancing. This is what we described a little bit last Friday. Alright, so we got some positive dollar yen signals and we got very positive dollar CAD signals. Based upon the differences in the movement between equities and the currency. I don't know. I've never really traded off that stuff. It's just if you see some crazy stuff going on in the CAD today, it's probably because of that. Maybe because also the oil's getting smashed. Smashed in the last little 2 days. Some rumors that there's a breakdown in OPEC negotiations. So keep an eye on that if you're trading the CAD. Alright boys, finally we're going to finish up with a little bit of looking at the FX daily. We look at this every few days. This is just the daily technicals. It is a little bit of noise, Gats. I mean, look, it takes experience a little bit to know what's really important, what's not. Those main themes I was talking about, potential build-up of US dollar strength, I just see that as being a really strong possibility. But, I'm not some sort of zealot on it. And we've seen, enough US dollar failures in the past to not get excited, and enough dollar yen failures, right, to not get excited. Dollar yen is actually, the heartbreaker of the group. And the euro, I mean, look, no one's even talking about parity in the euro anymore. I don't think anyone knows what it looks like below 105. I haven't heard anyone, talk about it going below 101 at the moment. It's everyone's still used to it being in a pretty broad range, right? No one's really talking about breakout in the euro. I'm still pretty cool that Clinton's going to win the election. I'm happy to be short dollar Mexican. And I'm probably going to sell more if there is more uncertainty leading into it and the dollar Mexican gets higher. So, if by chance euro can get above 110, does run into a little bit of resistance there, 110.40. Dollar yen already looks like it's breaking higher. 200 days a perfectly viable target for the next 2 weeks. Okay, and if we can get above that, then we'll look to 110. But yeah, 200 days perfectly viable. It's 107.20. Pound. I mean, I'm starting to believe this argument that it needs to go lower to work out its structural problems. I don't know, that probably means that the pound's about to rally because I've just started being bearish on it. It's probably, I mean, I understand why they're so bearish. And I understand there's been lack of any sort of supportive news, and there could be this hard Brexit. I just don't see the logic behind a hard Brexit. And you got to believe that there's some sort of rich people behind the scenes, right, trying to sort things out. I mean, it has to be a negotiating tactic, right? The City of London is too important for them to mess around with. I don't know. Perhaps I'm too young to know how foolish leaders can be. We'll find out. I'm a big believer dollar Swiss will break parity. Probably the same time dollar yen's breaking higher and the same time euros be under pressure. You don't really need the euro to fall dramatically. I think euro Swiss might be able to rally in a certain environment post-election. But obviously it would help if the euro's falling to get the dollar Swiss to rally. Aussie dollar. I don't know. I'm biased long, but I could be. Every time I buy on the dips, I'm. You basically at some point there'll be a big sell-off in the stock markets, right? Whenever that happens, Aussie will break low. But maybe we're going to 80 cents first, right? That'll be my main. If you had to ask me if we're going to 73 or 80, I would bet 80. But I think that's just because I expect the Fed to be slow and a dovish raise, a dovish hike. They'll try not to spook the market, I think. But we'll see. Could be wrong on that. The Fed's not very good at raising rates, it looks like. And then the whole buy the Kiwi after the RBNZ cut rates makes sense. I would love to buy at 70. I'd love to buy, towards 70. I suspect we're not going to get that. But yeah, if we did, then I would have a look at it. And the euro yen's sneaky. The euro yen is being a bit sneaky here. I mean, if the dollar yen does its move to 107, euro yen's going higher. And so it is a sort of way of limiting your risk. But I'm not a fan of it at the moment. So I'd rather play straight dollar yen. But let's see how we go, guys. It's a big week. Lots to talk about tomorrow. Lots to analyze from the Australian side. Then we'll move into the ADP on Wednesday. The BOJ as well. We've got to analyze as well. Then the ADP, then the FOMC Thursday afternoon. Thursday morning. So Thursday night we'll be talking about it. And then the the NFP on Friday. So big week. Big build up to the election. See if we can get some nice trades going.